prepare in owning a home in the year of 2025. So I guess everybody is here because you really wanted to own a home for next year, whether you're a first time home buyer or you're just wanted to relocate or just looking for your dream home. So thank you so much everyone for joining us today. And by the way, we are live right now on our social media platforms. So big shout out to everyone who are watching us live. But before we begin, this event wouldn't be possible without the effort, without the strong effort of our team. So allow me to give thanks to my team for being so hardworking to make this event possible. And again, guys, let me remind you of our Zoom rules. Please keep your microphones muted during the session to avoid any interruptions. Again, please keep your microphones muted during the session to avoid any interruptions. But still, we encourage everybody to ask questions and participate actively. So you can leave your message in the chat box or you can click the raise hand button for any questions that you have. And to those who are watching us live, if you haven't registered yet, please go ahead and register at platinumkeyevents.com. Again, that's platinumkeyevents.com so that we can still accommodate your questions. And lastly, to those who are in Zoom, we would love to see your beautiful faces. So please turn on your cameras. Let's make this session more interactive and engaging. Now we are about to start, but allow me to introduce our first speaker for today, and will share all her knowledge about homeownership as a business strategist, a business coach, and a real estate broker. Everyone, let's welcome the CEO of Platinum Key Realty and also representing our sister company, UD Business Solutions. Let's give her a virtual round of applause, Nikki Songie.
Mute. Hi, guys. Welcome, everybody, to today's session. I'm so excited to see your lovely faces. I am very, very excited that so many of you find it very, very important to learn about home ownership, to learn about real estate and building wealth in real estate. I'm very, very excited to present to you today. And I am just going to get started. So give me a second. Let me go ahead and share my screen, and then we can get going. All right, guys. So here we go. So let's make sure we are in the right class today. We're talking about home ownership. I'm here, and one of my best friends on the planet is here, Mr. Leonardo Noriega. I have known Leo way over 10 years, and we have worked in Florida, in Georgia on deals. Leo, is that right?
Yes, it is. Yes, it is.
Yes, we
And
closed deals in
please,
Florida. Yes. We've known each other for a very long time, and we want to share our knowledge and our expertise with you today. So make sure you have your pencils, make sure you're doing some screenshots. And of course, if you have a question, you can go ahead and type it in the chat or raise your hand, and then we're going to have some time for question and answer at the end. So let's get started today because we have a lot to cover. So you see our agenda today is very, very wide. We're going to talk about why homeownership matters. So we're going to take it from the simple form of why home ownership matters to what are the current real estate trends, how to prepare, what to do, all the ins and outs of home ownership. And then if you're watching and you're looking to be more of an investor, don't get discouraged. We're going to get to you, and we're going to cover some ways of purchasing homes in 2025 as an investor. So let's get going. Okay. So just a little bit about you, about me. Most of you may know me. Those who are watching, do not know who is Nikki Songie. Well, I have been a real estate agent and broker for over 20 years in the state of Florida. If you believe it, I have been doing this for this long of a time. And I have had the pleasure to work with wonderful men, women, and families and investors over the years, helping them to navigate the ins and outs of home ownership and purchasing real estate for investments. I am the owner and the broker of Platinum Key Realty, and I manage the company. I have members of my team here to support me, and all of us are just excited to serve in whatever capacity you need, and we are all willing to help you. Also, our sister company, New Day Business Solution, from time to time, we bring you training from that company as well. And over in New Day, we focus on things like how to create your LLC, how to do marketing, how to structure, things that have to do with creating, growing, and scaling your business. So you can go to newdaybusinesssolution.com and you will be able to see a lot of things about our sister company. Okay, so today we're talking about home ownership as a financial goal, the benefits of owning versus renting, and building wealth through real estate. Guys, if you're going to do anything in life, you've heard me say this, you have to count the costs. You can't get up and say, I want to be a homeowner, and you don't seriously plan for it. You have to plan to become a homeowner. You have to make sure you understand the ins and outs. You have to understand the financial responsibility, all the different things it's going to take once you even own the property. Is there anything extra that I have to pay? Like when I closed on the current home that I live in now, I did not know they were going to charge me a little extra every month for my garbage. I was like, what? I thought the garbage in Orange County was included in the taxes. So for me, guys, I wasn't blessed like that. I have to pay $20 extra a month for my garbage to OUC. So thank God it wasn't a big bill. But when you're planning for home ownership, you have to make sure you're planning for it. You're making sure you know all the ins and outs, making sure all the things you're going to have to pay, you are aware. And then, of course, you know, there's benefits of owning versus renting. And of course, buying real estate is a way to transfer generational wealth. So let me see my next slide. My next slide breaks down the benefits of home ownership, right? So it talks about appreciation. Appreciation. What is appreciation? Appreciation, if you buy something, anything, and the value of that thing increases over time, that is appreciation. So, you know, if you're renting, the house does not belong to you. You're paying that rent, and every time there's an appreciation, you are not participating in the appreciation because the house doesn't belong to you. So if you're a homeowner, every time there is an appreciation, the value of the house increases. You bought it for $300,000 in a year, it appreciated $20,000. So now it's valued at $320,000. So that $20,000 is appreciation. So if you are a homeowner, that appreciation is something that you would be happy to receive. Then we have equity. Equity, okay? So your equity is the difference, if you have a loan on the property, between what the property is worth versus where your loan is at. So let's say we bought a house for $300,000. It's now appreciated to $320,000. But your mortgage is $200,000. So that means your equity is $120,000. That's your equity. So you can have like a savings within your home because as you pay your mortgage down, as you pay it down, you now begin to have equity. All right. Now, when I bought my first house and I had my children were younger, I love the fact that I could have built roots. I could build roots. It was nice having my children go to the school with their friends. It was nice for that. Hang on, guys. I just got to silence this. It was so nice for them to be able to grow up in a community, have friends, go to elementary school, go to middle school, go to high school. My daughter today, her friends, I believe they started in middle school. I've been hosting parties for these groups of girls for so many years. That's because we had roots. So being a homeowner helps you to develop roots. Okay? Then for me, I don't necessarily want somebody to tell me what to do all the time. I don't necessarily want, I don't know about you. I don't know about you. I may get up today and say, listen, I don't like this wall. It's too plain. I want a spazazz of color. And now I want to paint this wall, this beautiful, let me say, orange. My slide is orange. I want to paint just this one wall, an accent wall. Miss Carmen, you know what I'm talking about. I just want to paint this one wall orange. Now, if I'm renting, you know they're not going to allow me to put no orange in their house, right? So I like to be a homeowner because if I want to do little things to my house, it would be an excellent thing. So excellent to be able to do things to my house without somebody telling me what I can and cannot do. Okay? Then it brings happiness. That makes me very happy. Then the next big thing on this slide is tax savings. Currently, if you own a home, your mortgage interests, a part of it is tax deductible. So you can write that thing off on your income tax every year, and that helps you out with Uncle Sam. All right, so everybody listen. Being a homeowner, I believe, is better than being a renter. Now we're going to talk a little bit about the trends of real estate in 2024, like what's been happening, what's been influencing the demand, what's really going on. Okay? So here's my next slide. Now everybody is working from home, guys. Everybody is working from home. I have had so many people buy this year that work from home versus any other year that I've been selling real estate. They work from home. The reason why this is so important now, because someone works from home, they can go and they can buy properties in the suburban areas. So for us here in Central Florida, they can do Winter Haven, Davenport. They can do areas that you would never normally want to buy in if you had to drive to work all the time. It would be a little challenging. People still do it. But if you're working from home, it's so ideal. For a family that needs like a 5-bedroom home and they really need it because of their children, they have elderly parents now living with them. They just need a 5-bedroom home. Where are you going to find a 5-bedroom home in the mid 300s? Where are you going to find that? You cannot find that in the heart of Central Florida. It does not exist. But if you go out to the outskirts, there are many opportunities for you to get the type of home that will work for your family for a price that you can afford. So this is the basic trend, the basic trend. Then I saw a lot of virtual showing, guys. This is such a technology age. And guess what? I love it because I'm a techie. I like to do things like, okay, let's just do this real fast. But some people still like to touch and feel. I still recommend touch and feel over the virtual. But if you have to do virtual, I understand and we will accommodate you. But many people, they view their home virtually. They may be in New York, they may be in California. They don't want to drive all the way here. They don't want to fly all the way here. So they are looking at the properties virtually. And this is also giving boost to the market because people now can buy homes basically online. So more people are able to buy, and of course, the demand is still strong. Okay? Then we saw a lot of things about energy efficiency, having homes that are eco-friendly, that saves on utilities and helps with lowering your energy costs. So a lot of those things happened this year. And I know that the real estate market is still strong and buyers are still buying homes every single day. Now we're going to talk about the steps to prepare for home ownership in 2025. We're going to break it down a little bit deeper. Financial readiness, budgeting, saving, and improving credit scores. So Leo is going to talk to you in detail in a little bit. But guys, when you're taking the time to prepare for the home ownership, you want to make sure that you're looking at your credit. What's happening with my credit? And will my credit suffice to help me to qualify for a loan? What I want to remind you, if you have background noise, guys, go ahead and mute. You can always unmute later. You can mute and then you can unmute later. But what I want somebody watching me today and here with me on Zoom to understand, not all the time when you do the Credit Karmas, the Experian, the scores that you're seeing, guys, is not the score the mortgage broker, the mortgage banker uses. It's a different thing. So don't get upset when you looked and you said, wow, I have a 650. And then when you fill out your mortgage application and they said, no, your score is actually 602. Don't get upset. I've told you in advance, okay? Don't get upset. And then you want to make sure that you're budgeting and saving. If you want to be a homeowner, you really have to take it serious. So you have to look in your budget to see what you can cut, what you can reduce, so that you can actually have some funds to add to this transaction. Think about it. Once you buy the home, you want to inspect it, right? You want to make sure that there's nothing funny going on with the house, that you buy this house and when you move in, the AC stops working, the roof starts falling apart. No. So you need to get a home inspection. So home inspection runs anywhere from $350 to, I say, $500, just depending on what you're buying and the cost to inspect whatever you're buying. So you need to have some money set aside for that. Then when you go to do your loan, you're going to need something called an appraisal. So an appraisal is what the mortgage company use to determine the value, the market value of that property. This appraisal is done by an appraiser, and it's a third party. It has nothing to do with the real estate person, nothing to do with the mortgage person, nothing to do with the buyer or the seller. It's a third party, and you're going to have to pay for that appraisal. Appraisals can run $500 or more. Okay? So these are just two out of the pocket costs that you have outside of your down payment, outside of your closing costs. Now, we can always do workarounds with down payments. We can do workarounds with closing costs. We can be very creative, but you want to make sure you have some money to pay for these kind of out of the pocket costs, and at least your initial down payment, $1,000, $1,500 or so, depending on what you're buying. Okay, depending on what you're buying. Then you want to do some market research on your own. You want to think about what kind of a house is good for me. What kind of a house do I need? Where does this property really need to be? Okay, if you have to commute to work, is it feasible for me to drive back and forth to work from this location? You got to have some sense of what you want and some sense of where you want it. Got to have some idea. Then you get with your mortgage professional, and your mortgage professional will help you to understand the different loan programs and how to go about it and how to qualify for them. Now, the last one says legal documentations, navigating the closing process. Guys, listen, if you don't have representation in the form of a good realtor, you're really doing a disservice to yourself. Even if you're buying new construction home, remember the builders and the people in the builder's office at those beautiful model homes, they do not work for you. They are not looking for your best interest. So if you're doing any kind of real estate transaction, you want to get a professional because you need someone to help you navigate the paperwork. If you need to negotiate, if you did that inspection and there's something that you need to happen because they found a hole in the wall, one of the appliances aren't working, you need someone to help you to negotiate to remedy that. So I highly recommend having a professional alongside you to go through the process of buying a home. All right. Now I put in here a little nugget for my investors, for my people that love to invest in real estate, business tips for growth and funding. All right, guys, now we have spoken so much over maybe last year and this year about creating and funding your LLC. I'm not going to go in super details. You can find all of these trainings on our YouTube channel, Platinum Q Realty on YouTube, and you can watch those videos in its entirety. But there are very good ways of starting LLC, starting your corporation, and using that entity to get funding to buy real estate. We have the mortgage professional here. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to put a nugget and I'm going to ask him for an update on some of those programs. So those who are watching that are investors, you can hear about it. And then I see one of our investors here as well. Hopefully he will jump in very soon and he'll talk to me a little bit about what's happening in the world of investing. Okay. My next slide talks about real estate tips and strategies. We already talked about buying versus renting, and we're going to talk about investing in real estate when it comes to using your LLC and the home programs. So we're going to talk to Leo about that. So some of these things we can wait till the end, and let's see. All right. This is what I want to talk to you about. All right. The process of home ownership. I don't know if anybody has ever seen this kind of slide before, but boy, have I broken it down for you today. So the first thing you do, which is here, you meet with a person like me, okay? So if you're watching me and you're interested in home ownership, the first thing to do is to call my office and you would talk to Kent because Kent is here on the live today. And once Kent gets some details with you, from you, then you can go ahead and get an appointment to talk to me. The next thing is to get pre-approved, guys. You can't go home shopping without knowing how much house you can afford. So we have the expert here. He's going to tell us how to get pre-approved. Then after you get pre-approved, you start searching for the home. Guys, not before, please. Try your best. Don't start looking at all these fancy homes and then you get your heart broken when your mortgage person tells you you can only afford 200,000. So don't do it. Don't do it. Meet with the real estate person, get pre-approved, then start searching for homes. So once you search for the homes, then you're gonna narrow that search by doing some advanced strategies to make sure the house fits your pre-approval and everything goes well there. Then we're gonna actually go and look at the house. Once we find one you like, then we make an offer, then we negotiate, and then we are under contract. Yay! Then we're in the money. Once we're in under contract, then you have to put your deposit down. So guys, remember, you have to put that in your budget or in the meeting that you're having with me or the mortgage person. You got to tell us what's really going on in terms of how much money you have available so we can do a workaround for you. We can do a out of the box scenario for you. Then you're under contract and you have to put earnest money down. If you don't put the earnest money down, the contract becomes null and void. So you have to put money down. Okay? Once you do that, you finalize the details with all the process of the loan origination and going through the underwriters. Then you prepare for closing, and voila, you get your keys. So I know I made it sound so simple by going through it really fast, but once you have the right professionals doing this with you, I guarantee you it will be seamless. When the issues arise, when little things come up, because we've been doing it so long, we can quickly help you to navigate and pass through that area. All right, guys. So I am finished talking. You guys know I don't talk forever. And I want to get into the meat of the matter today. Ladies and gentlemen, it is my pleasure to bring up my friend and colleague, Mr. Leonardo Noriega, who has been doing mortgages for as long as I have been doing real estate. Put your hands together for him. Leo, over to you, my friends.
Okay. So greetings first and foremost to everyone that's on the phone call. Hope you guys are having a great, I guess, middle and start of your weekend first and foremost. And am I clear right now? I just want to make sure.
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay. So I'm gonna get started. Before I actually go into the information and the slides, I'm actually gonna get started by asking everyone on the phone call one simple question. And if we could just do a show of hands on the answer. All right, it's a yes or no question. How many people here in the phone call know what the power and leverage of
Stop taking up the hat, please.
purchasing money is? Show of hands. Power and leverage of purchasing money. Show of hands. Anyone?
We don't know, Leo. You got to teach us.
Okay. Okay, so I don't see any hands going up. So I want to start off with that question because simply putting it, most people look at real estate, whether you're an investor, whether you're a first-time home buyer or a repeated buyer, most people look at the actual real estate when they purchase a property. Okay. What they don't ever look at is the actual power of the money that you're actually purchasing and also leveraging at the same time. Specifically, when you get into purchasing your second, your third, your fourth, and so on and so forth property, especially if you decide to actually invest in real estate. Okay. I'm going to go ahead and just describe that. When you purchase real estate, very simple.
Hey guys, can you mute your phone if you're talking in the background? Go ahead and mute your phone for me, and then you can always unmute. Let me see if I can help somebody. Let me see if I can help
I think
somebody.
there's someone speaking.
Yeah, I'm trying to see. All right, keep going, Leo.
Okay, so when you're purchasing real estate, what you're also doing outside of purchasing the actual real estate piece is you're actually borrowing money. If you're financing, of course, you're actually borrowing money to purchase that real estate, that piece of real estate. So what you're doing in actuality is you're actually purchasing money to buy the piece of real estate. That's what you're doing. So what I like to teach anyone that comes to me for any sort of real estate financing or business financing is I like to concentrate on teaching you guys why it's so powerful for you guys to actually leverage not your own money, but use the lender's money to purchase the real estate or land or build a new property or new construction. I'm starting to actually do a lot of barndominium properties here in the state of Georgia. So it's just so that you understand that you're leveraging someone else's money and not yours. And what you're doing is you're purchasing money every time you purchase real estate. So simply put, what you want to do is you want to understand what you're doing and what the purposes are in that piece of real estate before you actually make the decision to purchase. Okay. The cheapest time you're going to find money out there is obviously going to be at the lowest interest rates, right? I don't know how many people on the phone call monitor mortgage interest rates, but that's part of my everyday job on this side of things. And so it's just very important to understand when it's actually more beneficial to actually purchase the money. Again, putting the real estate to the side for a moment is when does it make most sense for me to purchase this money to be able to acquire the real estate. Okay. Just want you guys to focus on that while I actually go through the slides and the information I have to give you today. So Nikki, if you could put the slide back up, I'll go ahead and go into those points first.
Okay.
And then I can continue to go from there. We're creating wealth through real estate. And that is what we need to always be focused on, especially if you're planning on growing your real estate investments as you go. Okay. So I'm going to go through these points here in the slides, and this is just the different types of bars for qualification purposes. Number one, which is W-2 employee or a wage or a salary. So that's going to be anyone that receives a pay stub and a W-2 at the end of the year for you to file your taxes with. You're either going to be a salary or an hourly wage employee, or you're going to be what's called an annual salary employee, right? Either one of those two is going to give you a W-2 at the end of the year, and you're going to file your income taxes with that W-2. Number two is a 1099 independent contractor. So we have a lot of borrowers that do, like a huge one as an example is we have borrowers that do, for example, contracting work, rehab work, or even landscaping work. But instead of you being an employee for a specific company and getting paid an hourly wage or a salary wage, you're actually being paid as an independent contractor instead. normally speaking, what will happen then is that you're not having any deductions coming out of your payroll. So you're not having any taxes, any insurances, or any other types of deductions that you could take federally. And at the end of the year, you're receiving a 1099 for you to file your taxes. Okay. Number three is a self-employed borrower. So this is going to be the borrower that actually owns a business, any type of business. It could be an LLC, it can be a corporation, it can be an S corporation. There's different types of business ownerships out there on paper. But basically, in essence, you own your own business, you're running your own business, and this is how you're generating your income. At the end of the year, obviously, you're still filing your tax returns. And normally or traditionally speaking, a self-employed borrower is going to file both business and personal tax returns. Okay. Number four is an experienced real estate portfolio holder. So I currently do a lot of business with, on the investment side, primarily, I do a lot of business for experienced and also inexperienced investors because I can work with either one. I can work with someone. As an example for four, I have a few real estate investors that I actually work with constantly throughout the year, specifically in the state of Georgia right now, in the state of Texas, and also in the state of Utah, where a lot of these bars own multiple pieces of real estate already. And what they're doing is they're actually leveraging the equity that they have in those properties to actually move on to now bigger deals, like for example, purchasing a small apartment building for rental income purposes long term. Or for example, moving on to actually building and new construction properties for investment purposes ground up. So they're taking money out of their existing portfolio to actually now use it to build brand new real estate construction ground up for investment purposes. That's a big one right now in a few different states. And then number five, we have retired liquid asset borrowers. So we have a type of loan where we can actually use what we consider liquid assets to actually lend you for this new property you're looking to potentially purchase or build, or whatever the situation or whatever the purpose is. What we will do with that fifth one there is we're going to go ahead and verify how much liquid are you as far as money is concerned. When we say liquid money, we mean that you're able to, from one moment to the next, liquidate those funds in whatever bank account you have it, whether it be a savings account, a checking account, 401k, retirement account, doesn't matter what type of account, it just has to be able to be liquidated at any point in time. So really quick with that one, what we'll do is if you have $500,000 sitting in this account, we can actually use the liquidity of those funds to actually finance up to a $500,000 property in purchase, in new build, for whatever the purposes is, right? So we're able to use the amount of money you have liquid to actually qualify you. In addition to that, for retired folks, we are actually able to use retirement funds as well, just so you guys know, if there's anyone here on this phone call that's actually retired and maybe receiving a fixed retirement income, like a pension, a 401k that's coming back to you now because you've retired from your job, we can actually use those. And things like Social Security, child support, alimony incomes, we can use any of those to actually qualify for income purposes as well. So that's that slide.
Okay.
Not sure what you have after that.
I think that's it. We have questions and answers.
Okay.
Are you ready for some questions?
Yes.
All right, beautiful.
Love those.
I'm going to give everybody a chance to get your questions ready for either myself or for Leo, but I'm going to jump in and start asking Leo some questions. Right? So in his slide, you want to say something, Leo?
Yeah, I'm sorry to interrupt. I just noticed Mrs. Mims is on the phone call, and I just wanted to give her a quick shout out.
Hi, Keisha.
Hi. How are you guys doing?
Hey, how you doing, Keisha?
I'm good. I'm good.
All right, Keisha is ready to go, guys. She's looking for a house. Anybody has a beautiful property somewhere? Let me know. Keisha is already pre-approved and ready to go.
Yes.
All right. So, Leo, you spoke about W-2s. So if you're a person, he's talking about how you get paid. So in order to qualify for a mortgage, you have to show that this money that you're leveraging, you see, Leo taught us a new word. We're buying money, okay? We're in the big leagues now. So we're buying money. Okay, how much does it cost to buy your money so I can use your money to buy what I want? But of course, they're going to want to know, okay, if you want to buy my money, how are you going to pay me back? How are you going to pay me back? So for people looking to buy their primary house, that means the home that you're going to live in yourself for you and your family. Leo said W-2. So if you're working and you get a W-2 at the end of the year, then if you get 1099s, if you're a contractor, 1099 means your employer does not take the taxes out, right? So you get a 1099 and you got to file your tax and you got to figure that out. And then if you're self-employed, you own your business and you do your corporate tax returns, how to use those things to be able to buy your house. Now, I'm just jumping in right here because many people, when you are self-employed or 1099, sometimes it's a difficult thing and you need to be structured. Most times W-2s are easy, right? Because they already take your tax, you file your tax return every year, and it's good and in a box. But if you're a 1099 person or you're self-employed, you may need one of us to help you to structure. It goes about planning because we have to see your tax returns. How are you filing that tax returns if you're taking a little bit too much deductions and whatever is left, you can't qualify, then we have to course correct and we have to plan. So don't be discouraged if you did so many deductions and it says you only make 20,000. I know you cannot buy a house with 20,000 in today's market, but we can always fix it and we can get it going. Right, Leo?
Yes. Leverage money.
Yes. So before I go on to the next set of questions or comments, does anybody have anything they want to ask Leo today?
Please.
Anything in the chat, guys? Everybody knows everything? All right. If no one has questions, I'm going to keep on asking because I have a lot of questions, guys. I need to do something in 2025. I have to do, I don't know about everybody here, but I have to do something in 2025. All right, Leo, we touched on it in my presentation that if you are an investor, right? I know there are several ways about going about buying money to invest in real estate. Leo, I know you're the expert. Shed some light and help somebody like me figure out next year, how can I buy some investment property? What I got to do?
All right. So I'm going to go ahead and talk about the two types of buyers on the investment side.
Mm-hmm.
Again, one being the non-experienced, right?
Mm-hmm.
So if you're a first time real estate investor, this one's for you. Okay. First off, I'm going to give you the 3 points for qualification purposes so you guys get those because those are the important ones. So first one is going to be credit score. So on the investment real estate side, minimum credit score is going to be a 640 or better. So 640 or better credit score. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Secondly, I'm going to qualify you financially, meaning I'm going to ask you for your income documentation, regardless of whatever type of income you hold. We just spoke about those in the previous slide, right? But we actually do have products in today's market that are actually going to allow you to purchase a property for the purposes of rental income. This is rental income only. So this is for you to purchase a piece of real estate to actually turn it into a rental property and earn a monthly rental income from it. For you to qualify without income to purchase a piece of real estate and turn it into your first rental property. Okay. Really quick, the way we actually qualify you for those is we actually qualify the property, not necessarily you, when it comes to the income qualification part, but actually look at the property instead. Okay. So now we have credit score requirement, we have income, obviously, and then the last piece is going to be your assets. What we call assets are going to be, once again, the liquid funds that you actually have available for the investment part on that purchase. So in that same example I'm giving as a first-time investor, for you to purchase your first piece of real estate to turn it into a rental income, we're going to actually have a minimum down payment requirement of 20% of whatever the purchase, 20%. And then in addition to the 20%, you actually also have your closing cost as well. Okay. So 640 credit score, income. Again, we can go both ways with the income qualification. 20% down payment plus closing cost. Okay. That's my first time investors. For my experienced investors, this is a person that has multiple properties in their portfolio already. We can actually right now, depending on the credit score, because we do need a specific score for this, and it's actually a 750 credit score or better. For experienced investors that hold portfolio now, we can actually do a purchase transaction with as little as 15% down plus closing costs. And that's once again qualifying with the income or without the income. We can actually go either way on that. Okay. So the difference there is you have less money out of your pocket because there's only a 15% requirement plus the closing costs instead. Now that's long-term and short-term rental income. So when I say long-term, I mean, you're going to put a tenant in there every 12 months and renew a lease every 12 months. And then when I say short-term, I'm speaking to the Airbnb side of things. So that's short-term rental income instead of the long-term. Okay, so everything I just gave you is for both. Okay. Now, in addition to that, we have the fix and flip market. So this is for investors that are purchase property. They're going to actually rehab the property or renovate the property, and they're going to go ahead and resell the property in the traditional market so that they can actually earn a profit from the resale part. Okay. Qualification criteria for that one is similar to what I just gave you. It's pretty much the same thing we're going to look at. 640 credit score minimum. Okay. 640 credit score minimum. Experience or non-experienced. Non-experienced, once again, is going to be maxed at 80%. So you have to have that 20% plus the closing cost if you don't have fix and flip experience. And then what changes is for my experienced fix and flippers, as long as I have 5 transactions closed in the last 36 months or more, I can actually get you to 90% financing. That's just a 10% down payment from you, plus closing costs. Again, 5 transactions or more in the last 36 months.
Okay, wonderful.
And then finally, same criteria qualification wise for new construction. So again, in experience, a minimum of 20%, 5 experiences or more, I can get up to 90%. In this case, it's loan to cost. because new construction is a little bit different. You're building a property from the ground up. 750 credit score or higher, 90% LTC for new construction as well. Now, one last detail for my fix and flippers and also my new construction investors. One last piece. You will be required to have a GC, which is a general contractor license, not yourself, but you're going to have a general contractor license to actually be a part of that transaction. And what that means for you guys is obviously you're more than likely not going to be the GC, but you're going to be required to use a GC to do the work. Okay. That's a requirement for fix and flippers and new construction.
Okay, beautiful. All right, so for the first thing, Leo told us, the non-experienced investor, you see a house, you say, Nikki, I want to be an investor in 2025, what I have to do. He said, make sure your credit score is at least 640, have your income documents together, but if you're buying a property that can qualify for that rental income program, you may not need to show that, but he still wants to see it, okay? And the property has to qualify if you're going to use it for that rental income. Now, Leo, I heard you say that it can be, did I get it right, a long-term rental or a short-term rental?
Yeah, for the first option, which is basically the DSCR loan, on that program, you can do long-term and short-term.
Wow. So for those who wants to buy those Airbnb type properties, you see, there's a way to go about it where you can even use the income that is to be earned by that property to qualify. That is a great resource. Then, guys, if you want to build whatever you're investing, build from scratch, get the land. He gave you the tips there. One of the major one is you need a general contractor to partner with you, to hire him as a part, her as a part of your team. So you need a GC to be able to do that. Also with the fix and flip. Did I get that right, Leo?
Yes, so just to clear that one more time, you'll need to have a GC, but you can have contractors do the work. It's just that we're required to have a GC to actually give us the estimates, the scope of work that's going to be done, but you can use contractors as well.
All right. Did anyone have a question? Something in the
Yeah,
chat?
excuse me, guys. So somebody asked if that also goes for commercial property.
Yes. So great question. So first off, I can do both residential and commercial on the investment side. That's the first thing. I can do both. And I just want to point out that I'm a multi-state licensed loan broker, mortgage broker, because that's my independent title. So it's not just the state of Georgia, Florida, Texas, Utah. This is actually all 48 states. So I want to just throw that out there. Okay. So to answer the question, the qualifications I just threw out are the same for commercial. The only difference with the commercial side is that the loan to value is it's a little bit more conservative. Depending on whether you have experience or you don't have experience on the commercial side, with the examples I just gave, your down payment may be a little bit higher than the examples I just gave. So whether it's a long-term rental, again, on the first example, whether it's a fix and flip, or whether it's a new construction, what may change, you may have to put a little bit more money down, but it's all qualification criteria. So it's just on a case-to-case basis with commercial.
Excellent. Excellent. So I think we're leading right into what I want to talk about. So I see my longtime friend, I call him my uncle, Uncle B. can you come off mute and talk to the people tonight?
What's going on, Miss Nikki?
Everybody put your hands as I welcome Mr. Brian Jervis. He is the owner and the CEO of Natita Enterprise out of Central Florida, doing big things in the investment world. So he was the one asking about commercial real estate. So
No.
Uncle B, I have some questions for you. I know this guy has been studying so hard how to get everything together to pull the trigger to buy property. I want you to help somebody watching tonight. If you're thinking about doing this on a large scale where you're going to create an LLC and an entity to start, go out and buy properties, you want to make a living, you want to make serious money, it's not just a hobby. What are some of the first things you should do? Uncle B, help the people, help us.
Well, I think the first thing is knowing exactly what you want
You're
to do.
hiding your face. We can't see your face.
Knowing what you want to do. If you want to do rental, fix and flip. If you just want to, what lane you really want to get into.
Okay.
Structuring your business, registering it with the state. Make sure your LLC or your whatever structure you choose, LLC or
The corporation.
corporation, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's structured properly. You want to have your finances in place, whether you're borrowing or using other people's money, which is borrowing, or you're going to leverage whatever property you have or finances you have tied up in, like Mr. Leo said, in 401k or stuff like that. You want to have a realtor that knows what they're about. Platinum Key is my go-to. Platinum Key has helped me with just about everything. Purchasing my home that I live in currently and helping me along the way. It's not hard, just a lot of nuances to it. And you gotta be totally in it. It's not investment is not something that you just think about today and forget it tomorrow and jump back into it some other day. It's something that you gotta be doing every day because housing market changes every day. Like you may look at a property today and it's going for say 200,000. And by the time you close within that area, the value of the property may appreciate, may depreciate. I am into fix and flip, so you got to be cognizant of that varying changes that takes place from time to time. So I think it's a good market to get in real estate. I mean, it's real. I mean, everything else is fake. So I love it. I have had dialogues with Mr. Leo from time to time, couple times, looking about finances. I have had dialogues with other resources. But it's always good to have options. I mean, in fix and flip, sometimes we use, because of how quick you may want to do a deal, sometimes you gotta use a hard lender. Interest is higher. The payoff time is shorter. But then you're trying to do the repairs in a quick time in order to sell that property within 6 months.
You a senior wondering how the latest Social Security updates will affect your monthly payments? You're not alone.
No.
That's pretty much it in a nutshell.
Okay, wonderful. So, I'm always recapping, guys. I heard a nugget, something that we teach so much on these platforms, how to structure your LLC for success. If you're watching and you do not know how to there is a way. I'm telling you, there's a way to put your company together so that when you go for that financing, when you go for the things that you need, you have a better chance at being approved. You want to go to our YouTube channel, Platinum Key Realty on YouTube, and you want to look for that video, how to structure your LLC for success. Guys, as we round up today, I want to go ahead and just share the contact information here. Let me go ahead and bring up this slide here. And let's see. Here we go. Here we go. All right, guys. So, here it is, right? So as I said, guys, if anyone out there wants to talk to me, Miss Gloria, you had a question?
Yes, my question is, which states do you work in?
Me as the real estate broker, I'm currently licensed in Florida and Georgia, but Leonardo, he's able to do loans in 48 states.
Okay, that's one question answered.
Uh-huh.
Then I noticed that you have something that talks about your 401k, 410k, or some K of the sort.
Mm-hmm.
And let me say I have some monies for retirement put away. What's the procedure for using that to purchase a place?
Okay, Leo, you want to chime in real quick?
Yeah, of course. So just to clarify, is this a 401k account?
No, a retirement account, but I've just used that.
Okay. So on the lending side, what we're going to be asking you for, this is the documentation requirement. It's going to be the last 3 months or the last quarter, right? Bank statements for that account where those funds are sitting. And we're going to also require for what's called the conditions and terms of that retirement account. Some retirement accounts have conditions and terms when you liquidize the money out of that account, and some don't. So we want to verify if you actually have any terms and conditions that would be tied to you liquidizing that money should you decide to use it to purchase real estate. Obviously, that's the purpose we're discussing. So you could use those funds towards your down payment. You can use it towards your closing costs, anything that's an investment part of the requirement on your real estate transaction. And that's what we're going to ask you for. The last quarter statements, we want to verify those monies have been in that account for at least the last 3 months. And then we also want to just know if you have any terms or conditions in being able to liquidize those funds.
And my final question is, what if you have a real estate already that you finished paying off for your house, for example, and you would like to buy could you use the equity out of that house to buy something someplace else?
Yes, you can. Go ahead, Leo. Add more light.
Okay, so the answer is yes. That's actually something I'm doing a lot of right now in
Yes.
all the states I'm servicing. Okay,
Mhm.
so just give you specific example, especially if you own the property free and clear and you don't have any mortgages tied to the property, you're able to do two things to buy out of the property and then take that money and move it towards the purchase of the second, third. I mean, I have people sometimes doing more than one property, depending on how much money they decide to invest. So the two options are these that I can also assist you with, by the way, is you can do what's called a home equity line of credit, which is not a first mortgage. If your property is free and clear, it will be recorded as a first mortgage. But the home equity line of credit is basically used the same way that a credit card is used. So let's say you decide, hey, I want to take $100,000 out of my home and I want to go ahead and use it to buy another home. We would do a home equity line of credit for 100,000, and then that $100,000 you would actually use the same way you would use a credit card. So what I mean by that is you take it out for 100, but let's say you decide to only use and invest 50,000 out of the 100. You're only going to pay on that $50,000. You're not paying on anything that you don't use. The second part to it is whatever you pay back as a monthly payment, you automatically have available to use again. It works exactly the way a credit card works. Okay. That's the first option. The second option to utilize the equity in the home is to refinance the home. When we do a refinance on the home as a mortgage, we're actually redoing a first mortgage that's going to be recorded to the title of the home. But now you're actually doing a regular mortgage. So this is going to be a 30-year loan like every other mortgage. You can do a conventional loan, you can do an FHA loan. If you're a veteran, you may be able to do a VA loan as well. The difference is that we're going to be recording a first mortgage. Once again, with the example I just used, let's say you want to borrow $100,000 from the home. We're going to go ahead and do and tie an actual first mortgage of $100,000 to the title of the home with an actual interest rate and a mortgage payment, same as you once had when you purchased the home. You're basically remortgaging the property. That's what you're doing. Same thing you did when you purchased the home. If you use a mortgage to buy it, you actually mortgage the home to be able to purchase it. So we're just remortgaging the home with the new first mortgage. And then the difference there is that you are going to pay, if you remortgage it, you're going to pay principal, interest, taxes, and insurance on the mortgage payment. Where with the home equity line, as I explained before, you only have a payment. You don't need to include taxes and insurance because it's considered a second loan. It's not considered a first loan. So what I like to do with scenarios like this one is I like to show you both options. I will show you the first mortgage and I will show you the line of credit and put them side by side so that you see what the differences are. But those are the ways that you would be able to leverage the money if the property is free and clear, or even if it's not free and clear, but let's say you have 60% equity or more, you can always leverage that equity that you have available in the same ways I just described.
Thank you.
Beautiful. All right. Thank you so much for asking questions. We love questions. So as we round up today, guys, I'm gonna go back here and do the last slide with the contact information. Here we go. There you go. All right. So guys, if you want to talk anything about real estate or you want to get in touch with Leo, I do have his number here. For whatever reason you want to talk to us first, you want to go ahead and call Kent. Kent is here. He is our sales assistant at Platinum Key Realty. His number is 321-329-8720. Kent at platinumkeyrealtyinc.com. And then if you are an investor or you're planning on being an investor, or I call it accidental investor, we do have a property manager. His name is Abdul, His number is 407-339-2937. And then if you want to talk about credit, personal or business credit or LLCs, you want to contact me at 229-416-2744. NikkiPKR@gmail.com is my personal email. And then if you want to speak to Mr. Noriega, his phone number is 470-920-0269. Noriega@nexamortgage.com. So guys, hopefully you took a screenshot. If you need anything at all, go ahead. You can call our main number to cover everything. This is the number 407-260-2937. That's the main number. Once you call that number, you can press 1 for sales, press 2, etc., and navigate around. I want to thank each and everybody for coming on the live today. This is actually the last one for 2024. Next month, we're going to do a recap. We're just going to do a recap. So thank you. I have seen so many of your faces throughout the lives this year, and I am so grateful for you all to come and spend time with me. I'm super, super happy to have you. If you have any question at all, we're always available to help you to navigate homeownership, navigate LLCs, navigate business, anything like that. We're here for you. So enjoy the rest of the year. Be safe. And we will be back on with these classes next year by God's grace. Thank you, Leo. Thank you for sharing. Thank you, Uncle B, for sharing. You're appreciated, guys. All right. Have a good evening, everybody.
You as well.
Bye, Keisha. Bye, guys.
Bye.
Okay.